erstes Halbfinale des European Darts Matchplay 2018. Und wir freuen uns noch einmal auf den BDO-Weltmeister von 2014, die aktuelle Nummer 22 der Welt. The Bullet, Stephen Bunting! Stephen Bunting fordert die Nummer 1 der Welt heraus. Der Mann, der alleine schon in diesem Jahr 13 Turniere gewonnen hat, der bei 25 European Tour Titeln steht, der zweimalige Weltmeister von 2014 und 2017. MVG, Mighty Mike, Michael van Gerwen! Erhöht sich die Distanz ein wenig, jetzt heißt es Best of 13 Legs. Man braucht also 7 Legs, um in das Finale einzuziehen.
Here we go then, semi-final time at the European Darts Matchplay. Stephen Bunting, as usual, makes his way to the stage to the tune of Bird is the Word. Well, Bird might well be the word here in Hamburg, but the word is the Magpie, because Willie O'Connor has booked his place in the semi-finals for an incredible contest, an unthinkable contest against Andy Bolton. Who would have thought that at the start of this weekend's play? Some might have thought that Michael van Gerwen would be here and that he might be facing Stephen Bunting. Van Gerwen, the man to beat, he's provided the entertainment with a 9-dart finish here this weekend, the first one in over 5 years. Stephen Bunting continues his resurgence. He's looking to make his first ever European Tour final. Problem for him is that the man who he's facing is looking to make his 31st. Dan Dawson joins me, Chris Murphy, for Bunting against Van Gerwen in Hamburg.
A clash of world champions, a clash of former world masters. Two big beasts in the world of darts colliding in the semi-finals.
Well, if we're describing Van Gerwen and Bunting as big beasts in comparison, how will we describe the next clash?
180! Marginally smaller beasts.
Well, a beastly start from MVG, 180 to kick off the semi-final, his 12th of the tournament.
If Bunting is going to win this one, first to 7, remember, in the semi-finals, the extended format brought in this year, he is going to have to pile in the 180s. It is one of the strengths of his game, a real strength of his game. 57. He's hit 10 already this weekend. And the Players' Championship Series, he hits them more regularly than MVG. He's hit an astonishing 138 180s this year from just over 50 games. Now, to be fair, MVG hits a lot more 177s and 174s and such, but still, we've seen how Stephen Bunting's scoring power can give him the opportunities to compete with anybody. But he's not competing in this leg. Not right now, at any rate.
Yeah, speaking of scoring power, Michael van Gerwen is averaging almost 104 for the tournament. His first 9 average is almost 120. Bunting will have to pile in the maximums, you say. Well, he has, and it hasn't helped.
Second leg, Stephen, 2 for first. Game on.
Just a hold of throw, though. No reason to panic for the Bullet just yet. He has got 3 wins against MVG in his career, and one of them came in a final on the Pro Tour a couple of years ago. That's the last time he beat Michael van Gerwen.
91.
Beat him 6-3 in Barnsley in March 2016. The other time he won in PDC darts was a couple of years prior to that. He went on to make the final that day. And the very first time they met was at the World Masters when Stephen Bunting was only 20, Michael van Gerwen was only 16. Bunting won that day, but MVG went on to win the title the following year as the youngest winner ever of the World Masters, just 17 years old. And if I'm right, he hit a 9-darter along the way.
140.
The youngest player to win a major and prestigious tournament, Michael van Gerwen, and he's picked up a few since then. He's in the hunt for his 26th European Tour title here. Bunting lands another match, and he's going to get the chance to hang on to his throw.
Stephen
Van Gerwen cuts his score in half.
Beautiful dart, double top.
Wonderful
start. 273 points seen off in 6 darts by the Bullet Stephen Bunting. And not a bad response from the world #1. Those 3 wins for Bunting, dwarfed by the 12 victories that Van Gerwen has against him, including the last 3 times the last 3 times they've met on stage, it has been one-sided. Because in all 3 of those encounters, Bunting has averaged round about the 94-95 mark. He has only won 6 out of the 32 legs that they have played. 10-1 at the Masters, 10-4 at the Matchplay last year, and 6-1 on the European Tour last year as well.
140.
Michael van Gerwen is in the hunt for PDC title number 15 in 2018. The opportunity to eclipse his previous record is still very much in his sights, and 80 is in his sights to win this leg. Double top.
Game shot the third leg.
And an easy hole for Michael van Gerwen, who has
Game on.
breezed his way through to this semi-final with wins against Ryan Joyce, Robert Thornton and Ian White, although that one perhaps got a little bit closer than it could and should have been. Bunting has done it the hard way. Had to grind out a result against Darius Labanauskas. Darrell Gurney also went 11 legs before Bunting knocked out the World Grand Prix champion. A little bit more breathing space in his match against Justin Pike, although he kept threatening to make it closer and could have on a couple of occasions, Justin.
96.
Well, Stephen Bunting and Michael van Gerwen, obviously, as world champions, the highest profile players left in the tournament, 2 unseeded players in the other half. And Van Gerwen, it is no surprise to see him come out all guns blazing in this semi-final, because he will feel if he can see off the Bullet, then whoever he faces in the final may well crumble before him in their first ever Euro Tour final. You may be wrong to think that, but I think that might be
90.
what has imbued him
104.
with the verve to have started in this manner. Oh, misses a big number. Should have been getting a dart for the leg, and because of that mistake, Van Gerwen can clean this up.
Did it in the last leg. It's a very similar shot moves to the right.
60.
Can't find the sweet
Stephen,
spot this time.
32. Michael, you
All
require
three were
20.
close, but close is not good enough against the best player in the world.
Games on the foreplay. Michael van Gerwen.
Break of throw, 3-1.
Fifth leg, Michael to throw first. Game on.
Michael van Gerwen now has a hold on this match. And once he's got it in his grasp, it's very, very
43.
rare that he loosens his grip.
59.
Bunting, of course, no stranger to taking on the world's best on the stage, even in his time in the PDC. Meetings against Michael van Gerwen have come in the Premier League, in the World Series,
95.
the World Grand Prix, the Masters. Met him in some big ones.
Yeah, as I recall, I think he got an absolute hiding at the World Grand Prix. Wasn't he done to nil? Is that right?
Yep, straight sets.
And right now, Michael van Gerwen is averaging over the ton once again, as he has done right the way through this weekend.
That was in a semi-final as well, of course.
140.
Van Gerwen went on to take the title for the second time. He won his first Grand Prix title a couple of years earlier, but we can't mention
140.
that.
Might you require 80.
Present company around the commentary box.
Yeah, keep your voice down, man.
60.
A chance to break. How many chances do you get to break MVG? The answer is not many. So you have to take them when they present themselves. Double 16. Ton plus check out, and Bunting is back.
Sixth leg, Stephen to the first. Game on.
Bunting breaks back. And Michael van Gerwen has had his grip loosened ever so slightly.
Whatever happens in this game, it is magnificent to see Stephen Bunting back and competing in the dangerous
44.
end of stage tournaments in the PDC with what he's gone through over the last couple of years. Considered walking away from the game. This is what it's all about.
99. $177.
Well, van Gerwen reducing the deficit in this leg, but Bunting still holding the aces. However, he needs to try and find that treble. That's why he's moved across.
58.
That's not enough to leave a finish though for MVG. Bunting knows that one or two trebles here could be enough to help him get the leg in the bag on his next visit. And he's just dragging him a bit low, a bit of tension perhaps.
100. $64. Stephen, you require 104.
Well, he took out 107 to break, wants 104 to hold.
88.
This time, he did not miss the big number, which is what he did on the 104 checkout last time out. MVG is not missing very much at all.
80. Stephen, you require 16.
Well, every time he's had 60 left with two darts, Michael van Gerwen has had to move across to find half the bed, and it's hindered him on a couple of occasions. Bunting levels up after 6.
And it sounds like the crowd
145
are supporting the St Helens man, at least for now, to try. I think they just want to see a contest. They want to see van Gerwen pushed.
What was Michael van Gerwen considering there? Because he kicked off with 2 treble 20s and opted to switch towards the bullseye rather than the treble 19 or elsewhere.
Well, he's already hit 1-9 darter in a rather conventional way on the European Tour. Doing it 180, 177s is very passé nowadays.
140.
Look at that first 9 average for MVG, 120. It's pretty much what he's been doing for the tournament. Bunting, nowhere near. Absolutely astonishing to see it that low at the minute.
Yeah, Van Gerwen remaining at the exact same level on both of those averages you saw on the screen there. However, his checkout rates
100.
will need to improve. There might be enough, but if Stephen Bunting stays at a similar kind of percentage that he's at, suggests he'll take more chances than Michael, and this final could go a very long distance, his semi-final rather, although Michael van Gerwen might be thinking it's a final.
I think there will be an element of that. He's already been in a Euro Tour final this year against Steve Lennon, a guy who has come from nowhere. No, he's an incredibly talented player, but he never made anything like a Euro Tour final before. 72 is there for another 15 dart leg for Michael van Gerwen, 4-3. And in that final, the entire weekend Van Gerwen played pretty poorly.
Described it as the worst tournament he'd ever won.
Yeah.
On the back of the best.
But he still found a way to win it because he felt that he was always in control, even though he knew he was playing by his own ridiculously high standards, poorly. He may be anticipating something similar from whoever comes through in their first Euro Tour semi-finals in the other half of the draw. He may be wrong to think here.
140.
Well, it was the European Darts Grand Prix, wasn't it? The tournament before, where Michael van Gerwen averaged over 100 in every single match en route to that title.
And 110 in the quarterfinals, the semi-finals and the final.
He's averaged over 100 in every single match in this one. Bunting is raising his game.
3 180s in this match for Bunting. 13 for the weekend.
Stephen, you require 138.
Leaves himself a big checkout. It could go. It could go.
126.
It doesn't go.
Michael, you require
121 now the target for MVG. Can still do this, but he can't anymore. And that 180 from Stephen Bunting not only gave him the chance to check out, but also took him ahead of Michael van Gerwen in the 180 tally for the tournament, to highlight the point you made at the start of it. But all the 180s in the world won't matter if you can't hit the double at the end of the leg.
And MVG reasserts a 2-leg advantage. It was vital for Stephen Bunting to break straight back earlier. He managed it. Can he repeat the trick?
131.
Well, Bunting just took his time there. We've seen him do that a couple of times today. Take a step back, calm himself down, and then unleash a maximum straight after. And we know that he's someone who's been working on the mental side of his game with professional help, Stephen Bunting, and it seems to be helping.
Yeah, he has been a man rejuvenated. We've seen him go on runs this year, the quarterfinals and semi-finals on a pretty regular basis on the Pro Tour.
Well, we know that Stephen Bunting, like many players, have undeniable talent. So when they are out of form, you do believe that it's probably all in the mind.
139.
What a fabulous leg of darts. Again, put under pressure by Michael van Gerwen, going 2 legs behind, and he's responded again. 48 left after 9.
Stephen, you require 48.
Fantastic fights from Stephen Bunting, who once again breaks back in the nick of time, and he just will not let Michael van Gerwen get away here.
10th leg, Stephen to
Bunting has made mistakes in this match, but he's rectified them almost immediately on a couple of occasions.
59.
How much has he got in the tank, Stephen Bunting? He can't keep letting Van Gerwen get away and reel him in. There's not enough time for that. He has to make his move. He has to really power on and build on that 11 darter. It's his best leg of the match.
133.
And MVG keeps saying the tank is still full.
140.
He's had some time off to relax, and some of it, you could argue, was taken during the Danish Darts Open last weekend.
Yeah, surprise defeat to Brendan Dolan in the last 16, last time out on the European Tour. It was a lackluster display from MVG, but he was punished.
95.
At the tournament that he called his worst ever tournament win, he was lackluster, but nobody managed to punish him.
But how many times do we see Michael Van Gerwen disappoint and then respond by producing something quite brilliant and special? Bunting might have to take out the second ton plus finish to hold on to his throw and tie this match up after 10 legs.
And he could.
74.
But this time he misses.
Michael requires 74.
By some distance, and now the distance may widen. As Van Gerwen breaks again and moves within one leg of a place in the final.
Bunting must do something he has not done in this entire game, and that is win 3 legs on the spin against the best player in the world, who is averaging more than a ton, as he has done right the way through the match. It can be done, but in the words of his opponent, you cannot afford any mistakes.
92.
Is the bullet out of ammunition?
59.
He's fired his way through to this semi-final to take on the best of the best, the world #1. And he's stuck with him.
99.
And it could well be another big stage game, the 4th in a row that they've met on a stage where Bunting averages around the 94 mark, MVG averages around about the 100 or more. The last 3 stage games he's averaged 98, 100 and 112. Yes, he's got closer than the previous times, but the ultimate outcome might be the same. Can he find a treble?
100.
Needed it to get down to a finish there of 170, and that means MVG, with a decent setup shot here, pushes the bullet to the brink.
Certainly is more in the tank for Michael Van Gerwen, and I wonder whether he will try and find a fanciful way to finish this semi-final off.
40.
Because Stephen Bunting has only left 170, and Michael Van Gerwen does look at the ball.
101. Stephen, you require.
It would have been bullseye, 17 bullseye, wouldn't it? And you know it. But this would be unreal. If this goes, listen to the capacity crowd here in Hamburg. Listen to them. Stephen Bunting! Oh!
145. Michael, you require 16.
Well, Bunting pulled the trigger, but narrowly missed the mark. And that is the end of a valiant attempt from Stephen Bunting at the European Darts Matchplay. He bows out in the semi-finals and bows down to Michael Van Gerwen, who would expect to be crowned king tonight in Hamburg. We've got one more semi-final to settle. Will it be the X-Factor, Andy Bolton, or Willie O'Connor taking on Michael Van Gerwen in the final? Who would have expected that pair would be fighting it out on the stage for a place in the final? Well, most people would have expected that the world #1 would be there. Well done to Stephen Bunting this weekend, but Michael Van Gerwen moves through to the decider. We'll be back with a second semi-final in around 5 minutes' time. Stay tuned.
Die Bitte der PDC, keine Interviews zu führen, dass die Spieler sich einfach dann auch auf das Finale konzentrieren können. Und so kommen wir auch dann gleich zu Halbfinale Nummer 2. Willie O'Connor gegen den X-Factor Andy Bolton.